So this is the John Chick movie that we all wanted Atomic Blonde to be. Turns out it just had to be in the John Wick franchise. Makes sense. Ballerina. So Ballerina is a spin-off movie from the world of John Wick. You know the 4 John Wick movies, the Keanu Reeves starring action-packed action fests that are full of action? Yeah, those. If you recall, I hadn't seen any of those until the last one, John Wick Chapter 4, came out. Then I watched them all, the first one being my least favorite, the fourth one being pretty damn awesome. It was one of my favorite movies the year it came out. It was badass. So now we have a spin-off from those movies. This isn't the first spin-off from them, mind you, because at least I still remember that Continental TV series on Peacock, but this is the first theatrical movie spin-off. So the main events of Ballerina take place between John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum and John Wick Chapter 4, and it centers around Eve Maccaro, played by Ana de Armas. When Eve was a girl, her father was murdered by some pretty bad people, after which she is recruited into the Ruska Roma, which is a Russian-based group of assassins who use ballet as part of their training. They're pretty much Black Widows, but Eve wants revenge for the murder of her father, so she goes on a quest to find the people responsible and take them down. And from there we got ourselves a sweet-ass movie. I really mean it, man. I thought this movie was fucking awesome. Ana de Armas as Eve, man. It's like she got her feet wet as Paloma in No Time to Die, the James Bond movie she was in, where she had like one little action scene. And I feel like the filmmakers here were like, alright, we see you, Ana de Armas. We're gonna take you and make you the star of your own little John Chick movie. And what I like about her as Eve is that unlike Keanu Reeves as John Wick, she's actually a good actor. Hey, I'm just calling it like it is. The difference here in Ballerina is that since Ana de Armas is in fact a good actress, we have more emotion behind the action scenes here. We feel it more. So that's really appreciated. I mean, if you're here for Keanu Reeves as John Wick, you won't be dissatisfied. He's got a decent amount of screen time here, or at least that's how I felt when I walked out of the movie. I mean, he's not in most of it, but he's not just a cameo either. He is a character here, and his acting is every bit as good as it was in the other John Wick movies. I mean that sincerely. Still a kick-ass guy though. The main bad guy here, he's just known as the Chancellor. I thought he was pretty intimidating. There are some points where he's monologuing. I was like, okay, he's doing the bad guy monologue cliche, but it does kind of work in this movie. It does fit the tone, and of course he does have that personal tie to Eve, which does make him pretty memorable. I'll also say that the fact that Norman Reedus is in this movie, which first of all, not a bad looking dude, but I thought he was featured pretty prominently in the marketing, so I thought he was gonna be in more of this movie than he ended up being. Honestly, John Wick has more screen time than Daniel Pine. That's Norman Reedus' character. I like seeing him, I just wish I could have seen him more. And there is another character, I don't want to say who it is, but this character I saw as having a lot of potential at one point, but ultimately ended up getting wasted. That actually bummed me out. Because at a point, something was revealed about this character, and I was like, okay, so that could go in a few different directions, but in the end, no, they really don't go anywhere. Yeah, I didn't like that decision. Just goes to show you, though, that in super rare cases, a movie can have some minor problems with it, yet still be worthy of my best rating. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I walked out of this movie going, that was completely badass, and I want to see more. I want to see a sequel. Bring it on. There's just something about these John Wick-ish movies, man. They know what they are. They're action showcases. They're spectacles. But before I dive into that, I do want to say that I appreciate how simple this premise is. It's just a woman who's an assassin who's on a revenge quest. In that, it's kind of an homage to Kill Bill. And actually, in fact, that's kind of proven in some of the marketing, where you see Ana de Armas with the sword. Total reference to Kill Bill there. But yeah, the fact that the premise is that simple makes the movie really easy to follow. I was never lost or confused while watching this whole thing, which clocks in at a little over 2 hours long. And of course, this being a spin-off, you don't need to have seen the other John Wick movies to know what's going on here. Even with John Wick himself showing up, this movie gives you enough information to know where everything is within the timeline. It tells you all you need to know, because this movie is not about John Wick. It's about Eve Maccaro. This is her story. Although, to be fair, I haven't really watched any of the John Wick movies since the fourth one came out, so for all I remember, there could be some retconning going on. I'm not really attached to this franchise enough to know. If there is some retconning going on, then whatever. This is just one of those franchises now, I guess. Wouldn't be the first, I'm sure it's gonna be far from the last. I mean, hey, I hate retconning as much as the next guy, I really do. But I can reluctantly forgive it if the movie is this good. And in this case, to me anyway, it certainly is. Wanna know why? Let's talk about some awesome action scenes. Cause holy shit! The fight scenes in this movie are absolutely amazing! And I'll tell you why, cause at first, in the first like half of the movie, it shows that Eve is not all that. In fact, she gets her ass handed to her a lot throughout this entire movie, actually. Yeah, she gets her ass beat. Like, she'll get thrown up against a glass shelf or something, and you'll feel that hit. It'll be like, and then she'll fall on the ground, she'll be like, ah! You just want to be like, Oof, that's gotta hurt. Walk it off, girl. You don't have time to walk it off because they're still coming after you. So better get yourself back up and continue fighting on. And then later on in the movie, as time goes on, she gets more efficient to the point where, yeah, now she's a one-woman army taking on the bad guys. My favorite action scene in the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just say there's a sword involved. The choreography, the camera work, I thought was top tier. I was watching it like, alright, now this movie's got my attention, because I'll be honest, the first half of the movie I thought was pretty basic. I was sitting back in my movie theater seat going, alright, this is entertaining, but nothing I really haven't seen before. But then at the halfway point, the action really kicks into high gear and I perked up and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this is a John Wick-ish movie. It's John Chick. And this is why this is John Chick. Cause Eve Macaro is straight up badass taking on these dudes, man. It's super entertaining to watch. The fights get really creative with all sorts of different weapons being used, different settings, different environments. Just each action set piece in this movie is unique in its own way. Nothing felt repetitive. That's another great staple of these John Wick-ish movies, is that it's not just basic hand-to-hand or gunfights. They get creative with the choreography and the kills too. There's some awesome deaths in this movie. From the very beginning, there's a lot of death in this movie. It just doesn't stop, making one Andy Tolsky very happy. And you might be thinking that since the action goes on for so long, it might lose the plot, kind of like Furiosa does. And yeah, I will say the action scenes do go for about as long as they do in Furiosa, but the difference here is that the plot and the premise are simple enough that they're easier to remember than they are in Furiosa. All you gotta remember is that, oh yeah, she's on her quest for revenge. That's it. That's how you do a movie like this. Or at least that's what I prefer. And the music is badass too. Tyler Bates and Joel J. Richard did the score, of course, because they did all the other John Wick movies, so it's great. There's nothing to complain about there. Is that awesome techno sound that just fits right at home in this franchise. It's great stuff. In the end, Ballerina, I fully recommend going to see. It's an awesome time at the movies. For the life of me, I don't know why it's not an IMAX, but that doesn't matter because it's still a great looking and great sounding movie. I love these characters. The action is just top notch. And like I said, I want to see more from this. My business with Eve Macaro is not done yet as far as I'm concerned. This movie is badass with a capital B with a great soundtrack to boot. I said it once, I'll say it again. This movie is getting my best rating. For Ballerina from the world of John Wick, I will say, go see this movie right now. So, Ballerina from the world of John Wick, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, man, that Wicked Part 2 trailer dropped, so gotta watch that over and over again. That, of course, is gonna be my next video, so be here for that, because it's gonna be a good one. Peace!